Good day, happy travelers. It's time to talk about Christmas cruise deals. And I'm actually on my way to go to a Christmas cruise here in about 3 hours, so it seems to be the appropriate time to go over the deals. Let's see what we got going on. In this video, we're going to show you what the current sales are, and through data analytics, I'm going to show you historical data and let you know if it is in fact a deal or no deal. We'll also talk about last minute cruise deals. We're going to look at Caribbean cruises 2025-2026. We're going to look at those deals for Carnival, Norwegian, Royal Caribbean, compared against everybody else, the MSCs, Princess, etc. We're going to look at that data through winter, spring break, spring, summer, hurricane season, Thanksgiving, Christmas, because when you want to go on a cruise, really indicates the savings you need to see against the current data. We're also going to look at Royal Caribbean Icon Class cruises. They're not necessarily on sale, but can we still find a good deal? We'll do the same activity for Icon, Star, and Utopia of the Seas against spring, summer, hurricane season, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. We'll go into Carnival Excel Class, Mardi Gras, Jubilee, and Celebration. We'll look at that through spring, summer, hurricane season, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. And again, those different time frames are important because the prices are different against those time frames. And we'll close it up with the other side of the Northern Hemisphere, Alaska cruises 2025 and 26. Only 3 ranges to look at: summer, before summer, and after summer for Norwegian, Carnival, and Royal Caribbean. So let's start off with the sales that are going on right now. So Royal Caribbean, they just got done offering an onboard credit sale. So does that mean prices went up? Does that go down? We'll show you here in the data in just a little bit. In the data, what do you mean by the data? I go in here with great frequency, try to get in here every day, every other day, and I capture prices. I've been doing this since about before mid-October, and this is more of an exercise of futility for me, but I want to know when is the best time to get the best deal, and is the holidays to do it. We confirmed that Black Friday was not, in fact, a good time to get a good deal. It was a good time for the cruises, that cruise industry, to get a good deal, but not necessarily for consumers. So Royal Caribbean's having their sale $600 off. Where is that? We'll see. Norwegian Cruise Lines, 50% off all cruises. You only have 3 days for that. Carnival, Merry and Bright Savings cruises from $264. And all right, so that's kind of where we're at right now. Next up, we'll go into last minute cruise deals. So these are the cheapest cruises that I can find. So if you're looking to hop on, and it's not necessarily last minute. Look at this, January 27th, $264 for an interior, $454 for a balcony per person, includes port fees, does not include gratuity. The caffeine is brewing, folks. I got coffee for days. We're doing quite well here with the energy level. But so if you're looking for a cruise, you got 3 and 4 day options there for under $300 interior. So if there's 2 of you, you're going to be about $550 with food and hotel. That's not a horrible deal, and you're off in the Caribbean. And look at this. I mean, it's January for these dates. So it's going to be a nice, warm getaway from where you're at right now. If you're looking for Celebrity or Royal Caribbean, best we have right now is 4 nights, $303 for interior, $440 for balcony, and that leaves out of Fort Lauderdale and Liberty of the Seas. You got the Silhouette, marginally more expensive at about $23 for interior. But hey, the balcony is $100 cheaper if you look at that. Also out of Fort Lauderdale. So, $346 for a balcony. That is definitely a good last minute deal. And in case you're wondering, hey, where does this guy go? It goes to... All right, so we got rid of that one. That's all right. We'll get it back. Balcony, $346. Most of these cruises are actually sold out in the near term here. So, all right, here we are at $346. This one goes to Key West and then Nassau. All right, so should be warm there. All right, let's hop into now that we got last minute cruise deals, let's hop into Caribbean cruises 2025 and 2026. So I showed you the price chart. Those numbers are kind of mind-numbing, so we turn that into a bar graph. And this shows historical data. You can see that it ebbs and flows. This yellow data that you see right here is Royal Caribbean. And they've been doing something kind of interesting. It really matters when you book a Royal Caribbean cruise because the price fluctuates for a balcony room. about $100 to $200 depending upon when you book. And this is for the time frame before March 22nd. So we're approaching last minute cruise deals for this, and this is the best price that we can see. But for the onboard credit, they're going to give you onboard credit, but they're going to raise the price to do that. So the price has kind of been ping pong all over the place. Norwegian Cruise Lines, their price actually went down from $900 to $850. And Carnival, we appreciate their consistency. This green line down here is actually MSC. So if you're looking for the best cruise prices, go to MSC's website. If you're just looking to get on the cruise for the absolute best price, $625, you can get a balcony. And it's the low that we observed was sub 400, 375 before Black Friday. But ever since everyone's been Black Friday shopping, all it's done is really raise the prices. These dash lines down here, these are your interior rooms. And again, MSC doesn't get much cheaper than that. $300 for a 7-day cruise in an interior room. You're like, hey, but I can't see outside. Yep, go to the Lido deck. You can see the outside just fine, and you're saving money. And I mean, a week's worth of food is about $300 these days. All right, so these are spring break, pre-spring break prices, and this is an important distinction because as we go through the year, the different time frames, the rates change. So these are the rates for before spring break, and you got Norwegian Cruise Lines. We're just calling them out here. $710 for an interior per person. Now this is noteworthy because normally they're about $1,300. Balcony is $860. Also noteworthy because, as you're going to see, it's $1,700 and $2,400. So this is the best deal that we could find for Norwegian Cruise Lines. So if you go there, search for the dates, January 12th, and you will see where they are taking you there. Here's the Royal Caribbean. Again, you saw that these are the prices with the onboard credit. Once the onboard credit sale goes away, the prices are going to go down by the onboard credit amount. So if you say, hey, it's a deal, it's really the age-old expression, half dozen of this for a dozen of that. Or 6 of this, half dozen of that. You get the expression. They raise prices for the onboard credit goes away, the prices go back down. Or do they? You got to check. This is the reason we show you these numbers here, so when you go and book your cruise, is it really the best deal? And this is important to note here. February 2nd, Harmony of the Seas, this is the cheapest prices that we found against the range. And these Harmony of the Seas is cheaper than Brilliance and Radiance of the Seas. And Harmony of the Seas is an Oasis class ship. It's a fantastic ship, aqua theater, ice theater, main theater, water slides for days. So this is that's the best deal we could find. Now we'll take it over to spring break, and you'll notice that prices not only went up for Royal Caribbean, this blue line here, they shot back up for $1,400. So it went about a week ago, $1,075, and it raised back to $1,425 for Norwegian Cruise Lines if you're looking to go over spring break. And those are the dates 3/22 through 4/13. Royal Caribbean raised their prices for interior for the onboard credit. You might wonder, hey, what was this spike? This was also an onboard credit. Hey, what was this spike? This was Black Friday sales. So this exercise is proving that a sale around the holiday is challenging. Again, MSC is the best deal you can get. For the time frame in between spring break and summer, before summer hits, so we're looking from April 13th through before Memorial Day. Again, you'll see the Royal Caribbean bump, and you'll see that Royal Caribbean actually is considered, this is what you want to see from your 401k. Steady improvement. When you're buying a cruise, this is tough. Norwegian, did decrease, slight increase over time, and their interior matches that. And Royal Caribbean's interior prices actually went down as opposed to their balcony rooms. So a better deal for Royal Caribbean interior right now. And again, MSC is the cheapest. Carnival is flat. They're not playing around with their prices. Again, we'll take a look at Royal Caribbean as a whole. Here's what you should expect to see. The cheapest prices. This is just the best prices that we can see if you're looking to go to the west coast of Mexico, the Navigator of the Seas down to Cabo San Lucas, Mazatlan, etc., $752. Otherwise, Western Caribbean, Harmony of the Seas is what you have there. When you get into summer break, you'll notice that as opposed to the pre-summer vacation prices, the prices go up, and they go up $300 to $400. So if you're looking for the best price and you're not bound by your kid's schedule, summer break isn't for you. But if you are bound by your schedule and you just want to find the best price, Norwegian Cruise Line is not necessarily going to give you the best value unless you're loyal to that brand. Best price we could find for a balcony was $1,400. Again, Royal Caribbean, for their onboard credit, had to raise the price. Carnival's flat. They're sub $1,000 for a balcony. And in Norwegian's, it's funny, Norwegian's interior room is slightly lower than a balcony room on Carnival. MSC, I mean, you can't beat it. $780 for a week-long cruise, which is just marginally more expensive than Carnival's interior and significantly cheaper than Royal Caribbean's interior. Now, if you want to have the biggest savings, go from summer season to hurricane season, and you'll see that prices go from $1,400 down to, we got about $1,250 here. And again, here's the Royal Caribbean onboard credit bump. Went from $850 and we're bumping up to $1,075 right now, almost $1,100. And they did that with their interior as well. Carnival's flat, MSC is leading the way. Pros and cons, you may want to look into like Alliance with a Z for travel insurance just in case. I split the wickets between two hurricanes when I went in 2024. Did pretty good, but the people on either side of me, not nearly as lucky. There are some impacts, especially if you have to fly. Thanksgiving, here we go. We're going from $1,200 is kind of the highest for Royal Caribbean. Now Carnival is the highest. And Royal Caribbean raised their prices. MSC is still pretty cheap at $825. Interior rooms are a little higher versus the $300-400. Now you're up to the $800-700. Christmas, even more expensive still. We went from the $1,200 mark. Now we're up to $2,200 for the Norwegian balconies. Interiors are $1,600 for their balconies. Carnival and Royal Caribbean. Carnival was always kind of high. Royal Caribbean's going up to meet it with their onboard credit. And then you got your interior rooms. Now you might be saying, all right, cool. Thanks for sharing the 2025. It's always cheaper to get it in 2026. Historically speaking, I agree. Demand is high. You're going to see in the data that that's not the case. If we go pre-spring break, $1,600. The Norwegian's been flat at $1,600. Royal Caribbean, for their onboard credit, they did step up their price. What you're going to notice, if anything, is not necessarily the price decrease. The price is actually very flat 2025 to 2026. It's a lot more stable. It doesn't go up and down as often. It's not as volatile. So there's your prices there. Pre-spring break, here's your prices. Same kind of thing. You see Royal Caribbean going up and down. Norwegian leads the way in cost. Very stable with price. Very stable with price. So if you've watched these videos, we put them out about once a week for the past 8 weeks. You get a lot of it's stable. It's if anything increasing perhaps, but it's flat on the whole. Summer break more expensive still. Royal Caribbean, they are increasing their price, increasing it. So all right, hurricane season price does go back down. Prices continue to do what they've been doing throughout this entire session. You got Thanksgiving, and you got Christmas, and now let's hop into the fun ship. So what I showed you just then was ships that probably didn't have a lot of entertainment options. You're going to have a theater. Or you're going to have multiple theaters. Or you're going to have roller coasters, lots of water slides. Those ships are a little bit more expensive, but they're a lot more fun. Mardi Gras, we've been on twice. It's one of our favorites. So let's talk about the Excel Class. So if you're going with the family, this is interesting. This is the Mardi Gras. Over time, the Mardi Gras, you wouldn't necessarily see this data reflected in the cheapest overall price, but you will see it if you identify it by itself. $1,100 all the way down to $1,000. So the price has gone down $1,000 if you're looking to go before summer break. All right, so that's some savings there. Celebration, on the other hand, just in case you didn't know, Mardi Gras is out of Port Canaveral, Celebration's out of Port of Miami, and Jubilee is out of the Port of Galveston. All of them are very easy to get to. We've been to all of those ports. If you have any questions, let me know. But it's the price. It's the same ship. The theming is kind of different against the name. There's some minor tweaks, but in terms of the layout, room layouts and whatnot, it's all the same. So the best price you can do right now is $950 for a balcony, and the best price you can do is about $650 for an interior before summer break. For summer, it does go up, and we'll see that here in 1 minute. These are the prices, just in case you want to see what they look like in raw numbers. If you're looking to go January 11th, $973 is that price I was showing you about in Mardi Gras. Head on down to Port Canaveral, fly into MCO. and you're doing pretty good. These are the prices for the balcony. So you got other date options, and you can see that the range, while I show you the best price in the bar chart, it's easy. It quickly accelerates per person from $100 to $200. If you're looking to go a little later, this is the Celebration. Again, you got $973 over here. Celebration's a little cheaper at $933. Same ship, just lower cost. $733 for interior. Celebration is $668. So again, Miami and Orlando, if you have to fly, if you can drive to one, you can save the money. But there is a difference between the two in terms of cost. And we measured cost difference here in Pina Coladas. It's about a 7 Pina Colada difference. Summer break, very stable. Very flat, slight decrease, I suppose. But, Celebration's the most expensive. Mardi Gras is about $150 cheaper. And Jubilee is the most expensive. Celebration is the cheapest at $1,200 for a week-long balcony. There you go. Hurricane season. So you notice that the price was $1,500 to $1,200 for a balcony. The $1,100 is now the high, with Celebration being $1,000. So quick way to save $500. Is it risky? Yeah, it is. It is a little risky. Here are the prices during hurricane season. Best you can do. We got $818 and $1093 for a balcony, and actually that's a pretty consistent band throughout hurricane season. Looking to go during Thanksgiving, prices do go up. A lot of kids are out of school, and prices are seeing an increase in recent days, but $1,400 to $1,200 interior is about $400 to $300 cheaper than that. We got Christmas, even more expensive than Thanksgiving. Prices are on the increase all the way around, looking for $1,650 down to $1,550 for a balcony. If you're looking to go next year, is it cheaper next year? Not necessarily. $1,100 to $1,000, that's very consistent with what we observed in the previous slides, and the prices are on the rise. Here's some of the data. $814 is pretty consistent. $1094 is pretty consistent for a balcony. That's what you're looking at if you're looking for 2026. If you're looking to go in the summer, again, consistent, flat, not as volatile, slight increase as we've observed over the past 3 days that we've done this. Hurricane season, again, cheaper, but prices on the rise. $759, $1049, $1064 is the high. So these are just some of the dates and prices and itinerary for interior balcony. And heck, you can even see the suite prices here if you're into the suite life. $1,400 for the getting on the ship first, getting off the ship first, and any tender calls. Thanksgiving, prices on the increase, being consistent. And then Christmas, more expensive still. Slight observed increase day over day since we've done this. Let's hop into Icon class. We're not necessarily in the deal part of the world, but if you're looking to get on there and just want the best price you can get, Icon, Star will join the fleet a little later on in 2025. Utopia and Icon are running right now. You're going to notice that Utopia is cheaper than everyone else because they run 3 and 4 day cruises against Icon and Star's 7-day cruise. Prices are kind of all over the place. You will see the OBC influx here. It's just not as exaggerated against the cheaper prices because the prices are already $2,000. So you can see one interesting thing here is the OBC price was raised, but the price didn't necessarily go up. So, but it does ebb and flow, and it makes a difference. It's about a $300 swing depending upon when you book. Other interesting here is the Icon interior decreased, but then increased with the OBC, but didn't increase with the OBC again. Utopia, the Seas down here, the balcony went up to $800, and it is now flat. If we take a look at the raw data, the raw prices for Utopia, the best you can do is $753 for a balcony, all the way down to $793, so about $50 range if you're going in any time in January through March. And then interior about $718, $700. So the difference between a balcony and interior, if you're not careful when you book, if you had this bound by interior, $638 is the best you can do if you're looking to go early, about 2-3 weeks from now. Icon of the Seas prices. Interior $1,729 is the cheapest, and look at it, the range is crazy. A $400 range just on this, depending upon when you want to go. And balcony goes all the way around $2,059, $1,959, $2,000, and then up to $3,300. So again, when you go, absolutely matters, and it's the difference in thousands of dollars, and that's per person. So if you're bringing 2 people, if you're bringing 3 people, that exaggerates even greatly. So again, the data that you're seeing here is the price per person, $2,200 for Icon there in Utopia. Once we get into the hurricane season, Star comes out. Are we going to see a saturation as each one of these ships upwards of 10,000 people? We haven't seen much of a dip in the price, but there we go, 1,800, 1,600. Thanksgiving somehow, if you're like, okay, well, wait a minute, 1,800 is a lot, can't go up than that. No, well, Thanksgiving up to 2,500 for a balcony. Interiors north of 2,000 per person. You're like, well, it can't go higher than that, right? Not for Christmas. Sure can, 3,000. So 3,000 per person. And these things, they're flat. We've seen the OBC raise, but OBC's now offered it didn't raise, so I guess it's kind of a sale if you look at it that way. You're looking at cheaper for next year, not necessarily. Still up to 1,800 for pre-summer break. Here's some of the data you can look at for Star of the Seas. 1,600 for the interior, 1,900 to 2,000 for the balcony. Alaska cruises, let's hop into it. So if you're looking to go to the other part, these are just the best deals that I could find for Alaska. $858 for an interior, $1,300 per person, $1,350 per person for a balcony. That's early in the season. Early in the season compared to summer, probably a little bit more rainy, probably a little bit more gray, and a little cooler versus the peak season. And here's Royal Caribbean's prices. There's the onboard credit. And again, when that goes away, don't worry. It's not like you missed out. The prices will pretty much go down by the OBC amount. So it's really this, that, or the other, even Steven. $836 is the cheapest interior we could find. $1,421 is the cheapest balcony we could find. And if you're not careful, right next to it, May 4th to July 4th, if you're willing to do a balcony but save $1,500 per person, you can certainly do it. So when you book, absolutely matters to the tune of almost another cruise. Otherwise, here's the cheapest price that we could find. You can see Royal Caribbean bumped their prices up big. Not as dramatic for interior rooms. Carnival and Norwegian is flat. This is probably the only time you're going to see Norwegian cheaper than Carnival and Royal Caribbean. That's because they have a couple more ships over there. Summer season. Now, Norwegian's resuming their helm at the top, $2,200, $2,400. And then you got Royal Caribbean increasing the price. Carnival slightly increasing as well. But, $1,550, $1,525 for a balcony. And you can save about $500 to $800 for interior rooms. After summer, prices do go down. By about $600 for Norwegian, about $300 for Carnival. And Royal Caribbean is all over the place. Again, depending upon when you book matters, you can get it for about $1,075 on up to $1,400. If you're looking at 2026, like, hey, wait, is it cheaper, now than here? Well, if we go back to 2025, we were looking at $1,400. 2026, $1,800 to $1,600. So it's more expensive to book balconies next year. Again, that goes against the adage, hey, if we go ahead and book out, we'll save some money. No, not necessarily. Here's what we're looking at for just the raw data of Royal Caribbean. You got $746 for interior and $1,469, $1,430 for 2026. So this is just this year versus next year. You can see there's a lot more 2026s that are cheaper, that are lower versus what you can get for 2025. So this is just FYI. Again, if you're careful, you can save $300. If you're not careful, you can spend infinity. That's where we're at. So, hey, I hope this helped you. Again, the purpose of this is just to arm you with knowledge, show you where the best deals are, what the best prices you can get. And if you're coming up with a price that's more, you can be okay with it or adjust your dates and or cruise company and try to save some money. And because you also got to figure in Wi-Fi and drink packages and excursions. They're not cheap either. So until next time, if you have any questions, let me know. I hope you travel safe and have a great holiday.